Hello and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha with the day's top stories. Let's begin with the headlines. Government wants to make India a global hub for artificial intelligence. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reminds global community of the need for algorithm transparency and accountability to ensure trust in how artificial intelligence is used. Indian Air Force ready to meet any eventuality, including a war on two fronts. Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadoria asserts that appropriate deployment is in place in Ladakh to tackle any exigency. ₹21 lakh crore Atmanirbhar Bharat package getting positive results. Finance Ministry's report for September finds Indian economy all set to pick up pace in the coming festive season. India continues to maintain steady rise in the rate of Covid-19 recoveries, fall in active cases. Centre hoping to vaccinate 20 to 25 crore people against novel coronavirus by July 2021. And Nobel Prize in Medicine announced. Scientists Harvey Alter, Michael Houghton and Charles Rice to be honoured for discovering hepatitis C virus. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has stressed on responsible use of artificial intelligence and protecting the world against weaponization of AI by non-state actors. He said this while inaugurating the summit Race 2020, Responsible AI for Social Empowerment on Monday. Speaking at the summit via video conferencing, the Prime Minister said that the government is targeting to make India a global hub for artificial intelligence. Modi said India has experienced that technology has improved transparency and service delivery.
India has also proved to be the powerhouse of the global IT services industry. We will continue to digital excel and delight the world. Friends, in India, we have experienced that technology improves transparency and service delivery. We are home to the world's largest unique identity system, Aadhaar. We also have the world's most innovative digital payment system, UPI.
The Prime Minister said India has recently adopted the National Education Policy 2020, which focuses on technology-based learning and skilling as a major part of education. He added, e-courses will also be developed in various regional languages and dialects.
The National Educational Technology Forum is being formed. This will create an e-education unit to boost the digital infrastructure, digital content and capacity. Virtual labs are being established to provide hands-on experience to learners. We have also launched the Atal Innovation Mission to promote a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship.
The Prime Minister said artificial intelligence has a big role to play in sectors like agriculture, creating next-generation urban infrastructure and making disaster management systems stronger.
The future belongs to the youth, and every youngster matters. Each child has unique talents, capabilities, and aptitudes. At times, the right person ends up at the wrong place. There is a way we can change that. How about every child observing him or herself while growing up? Can parents, teachers, and friends carefully observe children? Observe them from their childhood, the start of adulthood.
The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and Niti Aayog are organizing the mega virtual summit on artificial intelligence from 5th October to the 9th. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and Niti Aayog have lined up 44 sessions to run for the next 5 days. RAISE Summit aims for the transformation of health, education, and agricultural areas. Here's a detailed report on what actually is the RAISE Summit.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated RAISE 2020, a 5-day global summit on artificial intelligence on Monday. The summit, that stands for Responsible Artificial Intelligence for Social Empowerment, is being organized in partnership with the industry and academia. In June this year, India, along with Australia, the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Canada, France, Germany, New Zealand and others joined to create the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, or GPAI, for the responsible development and use of AI. The RAISE Summit is aimed at kickstarting discussion on creating a robust AI-powered public infrastructure that benefits all, not just in India, but across the world. RAISE 2020 will assist in an exchange of ideas while chartering a course to use AI for social empowerment, inclusion, and transformation in key areas like healthcare, agriculture, education, and smart mobility. The summit will call for global participation from key opinion makers, academia, and government representatives. So far, over 38,700 stakeholders from across academia, the research industry, and government representatives from as many as 125 countries have registered it. Industry analysts predict that the summit led to efforts that could add over $957 billion to India's economy by the year 2035. RAISE 2020 is expected to cover topics like data and AI-powered financial services, Atmanirbhar Bharat AI Startup Pitch Fest, education and awareness for responsible AI, leveraging AI for pandemic preparedness, the impact of data and AI in smart cities and mobility, the role of government in AI enablement, role of data for responsible AI, building a future-ready agricultural supply chain with AI. Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant said, India is developing AI-based solutions for social empowerment across spheres like healthcare, education, finance, agriculture, and governance. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has announced that this year's compensation cess collected amounting to 20,000 crore rupees will be dispersed to the states tonight. The announcement was made at the 42nd meeting of the GST Council on Monday. The Finance Minister also said that 25,000 crore rupees towards IGST of 2017-18 will be disbursed by next week. The GST Council has also recommended levy of compensation cess to be extended beyond the transition period of 5 years, that is, beyond June 2022, for such period as may be required to meet the revenue gap. The Council has approved the future roadmap for return filing under GST to simplify further, reduce the taxpayers' compliance burden. The timely filing of GSTR-1 statement alone would be sufficient, as the return in Form GSTR-3B would get auto-prepared on the common portal. Also, from the 1st of January onwards, taxpayers will, with annual turnover less than 5 crore rupees, will not be required to file monthly returns. They will only be required to file quarterly returns. Refunds will be disbursed in a validated bank account linked with the PAN and Aadhaar of the registrant with effect from 1st of January 2021. To encourage domestic launching of satellites, particularly by young startups. The satellite launch services supplied by ISRO, Antariksh Corporation Limited and NSIL would be exempted. The GST Council will meet once again on the 12th of October.
This year's compensation cess collected amounting to 20,000 crores will be distributed late night today. So there wouldn't be anything kept behind. The entire amount will be disbursed. A call was taken that this has to be corrected. And then the formulation with which, even if the money was devolved to the states which had to get the money, which had got earlier, far lesser than what they should have got, difficulty arose about how to get the money back from states which had received more. So on that, we wanted to have a way in which that can be solved without burdening the states today.
Moving on, the Air Force Chief has asserted that India is equipped to face any kind of threat, including a two-front war. Addressing a press conference, Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadauria said on Monday that there is already a strong deployment in place in eastern Ladakh to face any likely threat from China.
Indian Air Force is very well positioned to deal with any threat, Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadauria said on Monday. Addressing a press conference ahead of Air Force Day on 8th of October, the Air Force Chief said that very strong deployments have been made in all relevant areas considering the security scenario. He also said the induction of Rafale jets has given India an operational edge.
We are determined to handle any contingency. Undoubtedly, our capability and intent would deter. Our airlift capability was also brought into focus as we supported the Indian Army in rapid mobilization. The integration of Rafales brings in a platform armed with weapons, sensors, and technologies that is way ahead and would give us an operational and technological edge in this area. Combined with upgraded op capabilities of our current fighter fleets that is underway, it gives us the ability to shoot first and strike deep and hard.
The IAF chief once again asserted that the IAF is prepared to deal with a two-front war along the northern and western borders.
Modernization is an ongoing priority area to enhance operational potential in keeping with the desired combat capability in the years to come. This includes induction of state-of-the-art modern equipment, as well as simultaneously upgrading existing systems to boost their capabilities and ensure operational relevance.
The IAF has deployed its frontline fighter jets like Sukhoi 30 MKI, Jaguar and Mirage 2000 aircraft in the key frontier air bases in eastern Ladakh. The newly inducted fleet of 5 Rafale jets has also been carrying out sorties in eastern Ladakh. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The 7th round of core commander-level talks between the Indian and Chinese militaries is expected to take place on the 12th of October. The talks will focus on a specific agenda of firming up a roadmap for disengagement of troops from all friction points in eastern Ladakh. The two sides are also expected to look into steps to maintain stability on the ground and avoid action that may trigger fresh tension in the region. A senior official of the Ministry of External Affairs is also likely to be part of the Indian delegation at the talks on the 12th of October. Following the last round of military talks on the 21st of September, the two sides announced a slew of decisions, including not sending more troops to the front line, refraining from unilaterally changing the situation on the ground, and avoiding actions that may further complicate matters. And with that, time for a short break here, but more news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
Watch The Big Picture with me, Frank Rausen Pereira, at 9:30 p.m.
The prolific British poet and story writer Joseph Rudyard Kipling, one of the first masters of short stories in English. In 1894 appeared his Jungle Book, which became a children's classic all over the world. Kim, the story of Kimball O'Hara and his adventures in the Himalayas, is perhaps his most felicitous work published. Set in and concerned with India he had come to know and love so well. In 1907, Kipling became the first English language writer to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature.
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. The Finance Ministry has said in its monthly economic report for September that the economy is on a recovery path and the upcoming festive season may add to the momentum. The ministry exuded confidence that positive results from the implementation of the 21 lakh crore rupees Atmanirbhar Bharat package and graded unlocking of the economy have caused the recent turnaround in high-frequency indicators. The report also said that the data over 2 weeks through 30th September suggests India may have crossed the peak of Covid-19 caseload.
The upcoming festive season is expected to further accelerate the recovery momentum across several sectors. The Finance Ministry reiterated in its report that the government is open to taking further measures to soften the COVID blow, although the sustained spread of the COVID-19 virus poses a downside risk to short-term and medium-term growth rates. With India unlocking, demand resurgence is palpable in many sectors. This is despite headwinds of increasing COVID cases in non-metro cities and rural areas and rising food prices. The Finance Ministry report insisted the reforms in the agricultural sector were more overdue than even the labour reforms, as the existing laws kept the Indian farmer enslaved to the local mandi and their rent-seeking intermediaries. Several high-frequency indicators like PMI data, GST mop-up, toll collections, e-way bills, power consumption and auto sales have shown an uptick in September. The rebound signals and pent-up demand points at further recovery prospects for manufacturing. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
Let's now take a look at the COVID-19 situation across the country.
For straight 2 weeks, India has maintained a steady trend of recording less than 10 lakh active COVID-19 cases. India on Monday reported 9.34 lakhs active cases, which is 14.11% of total caseload in the country. Total infection rose to 66.23 lakh, with 74,442 new cases and 903 deaths being reported in last 24 hours. 76,737 patients recovered in last 24 hours to give a figure of 55.86 lakhs recoveries so far. Overall recovery rate is 84.3%, while total deaths have now crossed 1,02,685. India has so far tested 7.99 crore samples, including 9.89 lakhs on Sunday itself. The central government is expecting to utilize and distribute 40 to 50 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses to cover 20 to 25 crore people by next July. Union Health Minister Harshvardhan says a priority will be given to health workers engaged in COVID-19 management. He also asserted that centre will ensure fair and equitable distribution of vaccines once they are ready.
The centre is also working on plans for building capacities in HR, training, supervision, etc. on a massive scale. Our rough estimate and target would be to receive and utilize 400 to 500 million doses, covering approximately 20 to 25 crore people by July 2021.
3 potential vaccines are being tested in India, including Covishield, that was developed jointly by University of Oxford and pharma giant AstraZeneca. If successful, Covishield will be mass-produced by Pune Serum Institute. Hyderabad-based Bharat Biotech is developing Covaxin, and Zydus Cadila is working on the third. India is also part of GAVI alliance that is intended to ensure that 92 low and middle income countries get access to the vaccines. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Supreme Court asked the centre and the RBI on Monday to place on record the KV Kamath Committee recommendations on debt restructuring in view of the COVID-19 impact on various sectors. The top court also asked the centre and the RBI to present notifications and circulars issued so far on loan moratorium and also consider the issues raised by real estate associations and the power producers. The Supreme Court's direction came after the Finance Ministry's decision to grant relief to individual borrowers as well as to medium and small industries. The Finance Ministry has decided to waive compound interest charged on loans of up to 2 crore rupees for a 6-month moratorium period announced due to the COVID-19 pandemic. A bench led by Justice Ashok Bhushan was hearing pleas seeking waiver of accruing interest during the 6-month loan moratorium period. The Kamath panel made recommendations for 26 sectors that could be factored by lending institutions while finalizing loan resolution plans and had said that banks could adopt a graded approach based on the severity of the COVID-19 pandemic on a particular sector. The Election Commission has issued instructions to make postal ballot voting more convenient for the elderly and people with disabilities. The new rules specify that booth-level officers will visit houses of people with disabilities and those above 80 years of age and deliver them the form required to opt for postal ballot. They will also collect the filled-in 12D form from the elector within 5 days of the notification and then deposit it with the returning officer. The instructions will apply to all elections and by-elections, including the upcoming Bihar Assembly polls, by polls to 56 Assembly and 1 Lok Sabha seat. Bihar will have a 3-phase Assembly poll from 28th of October. In an effort to strengthen bilateral ties in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, India has exempted Myanmar from repaying loans till the 31st of December 2020. The decision was communicated to Myanmar during the 2-day visit of Chief of Defence Staff General Manoj Mukund Narwane and Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla to Myanmar. General Narwane and Shringla met Myanmar Supreme Leader Aung San Suu Kyi in Naypyidaw and handed over 3,000 vials of remdesivir to her. They also held talks with Commander-in-Chief of Defence Services Senior General Min Aung Hlaing during the visit. General Narwane also met Vice Senior General So Win, Deputy Commander-in-Chief of Myanmar Armed Services, while the Foreign Secretary met Yu So Han, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Myanmar. Both sides agreed to further strengthen partnership in connectivity projects, capacity building, power and energy, trade and economy, people-to-people as well as cultural exchanges and defence exchanges across all the 3 services. They also reiterated mutual commitment not to allow their respective territories to be used for activities inimical to each other. The Indian side expressed appreciation to Myanmar for handing over of 22 cadres of insurgent groups to India. India-Myanmar relations are rooted in shared historical, ethnic, cultural and religious ties. Over the years, a number of agreements enhancing bilateral cooperation have been signed between the 2 countries. High-level visits have been a regular feature of India-Myanmar relations for several years now. Here's a brief history of the ties between the 2 neighbouring countries.
India and Myanmar relations have stood the test of time. The geographical proximity of the 2 countries has helped develop and sustain cordial relations and facilitated people-to-people contact. As the land of Lord Buddha, India is a country of pilgrimage for the people of Myanmar. India and Myanmar share a long land border of over 1,600 kilometers and a maritime boundary in the Bay of Bengal. A large population of people of Indian origin live in Myanmar. India and Myanmar signed a treaty of friendship in 1951. The visit of the Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi in 1987 laid the foundations for a stronger relationship between the 2 countries. A number of agreements enhancing bilateral cooperation have been signed between the 2 nations. Institutional mechanisms for facilitating regular dialogue on a range of issues of bilateral interest have also been established. During 2002, the Indian Consulate General in Mandalay was reopened and the Consulate General of Myanmar was set up in Kolkata. High-level visits have been a regular feature of India-Myanmar relations for several years now. The Government of India is actively involved in several projects in Myanmar, both in infrastructural and non-infrastructural areas. India is also Myanmar's fourth largest trading partner after Thailand, China and Singapore, and second largest export market after Thailand, absorbing 25% of its total exports. India is also the seventh most important source of Myanmar's imports. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
World Habitat Day was celebrated on Monday. The day was designated by the United Nations in the year 1985. The day is meant to focus on the state of towns and cities worldwide and on the basic right of all to adequate shelter. It is also intended to remind the world's citizens of their power and the responsibility toward shaping the future of our cities and towns. The theme for World Habitat Day 2020 is Housing for All, a Better Urban Future. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu extended his greetings on the day. He asked urban planners and stakeholders to focus on ensuring safer shelters and livable cities. He also said that the cities must be inclusive, sustainable, environment-friendly, and also must address challenges of rapid urbanization.
In 1985, the United Nations designated the first Monday of October as World Habitat Day. The event focuses on the state of human settlement and people's right to sufficient shelter. It is also intended to remind the world of its collective responsibility for the future of the human habitat. The day emphasizes on helping the poor and to improve solutions for giving people access to better homes. The United Nations created World Habitat Day as it saw a need to help improve how shelters from all parts of the world are managed and how people can get access to the best possible homes for their lives. World Habitat Day was first celebrated in 1986 with the theme Shelter is My Right. Nairobi was the host city for observance that year. Each year, World Habitat Day takes on a new theme to promote sustainable development policies that ensure adequate shelter for all. These themes often promote one of the UN Habitat's focal areas, such as inclusive housing and social services, a safe and healthy living environment for all, with particular consideration for children, youth, women, elderly, and the disabled, affordable and sustainable transport and energy, promotion, protection, and restoration of green urban spaces, safe and clean drinking water and sanitation, healthy air quality, job creation, improved urban planning and slum upgrading, and better waste management. The United Nations Center for Human Settlements estimates that throughout the world, over 1 billion people live in inadequate housing, with an excess of 100 million people living in conditions classified as homelessness. Access to drinking water and adequate sanitation facilities are additional basic needs directly associated with housing. According to figures released by the World Health Organization, 1.2 billion people living in developing countries do not have access to drinking water, and 1.8 billion people live without access to adequate sanitation. These figures serve to illustrate the enormous scale of the global struggle to fulfill the right to adequate housing. The greatest concern about housing around the world is that people are often not in shelters that are safe and suitable for them to live in. Homeless people are often stuck in situations where they are unable to get the protection they need from several problems. They might be exposed to harmful weather or diseases due to improper living conditions. Adequate housing is universally viewed as one of the most basic human needs. Hence, World Habitat Day is intended to remind the world that we all have the power and the collective responsibility to shape the future of our cities and towns. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The 2020 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine has been awarded to the scientists who discovered the hepatitis C virus that causes cirrhosis and liver cancer. Americans Harvey Alter and Charles Rice and British scientist Michael Houghton were jointly awarded the Nobel Prize for Medicine on Monday. Head of the Nobel Committee, Thomas Perlman, in Stockholm, named the winners. The World Health Organization estimates that globally, hepatitis afflicts over 71 million people every year, causing nearly 4 lakh deaths worldwide. The prestigious award comes with a gold medal and prize money of 10 million Swedish crowns.
It's really a life-saving discovery, and also it's critical to go to the beginning to really understand the basic original discoveries that have really enabled. There's so much else that has happened, so many advances in therapy, etc., but that's made possible by this initial discovery of the actual virus.
Medicine is the first of the Nobel Prizes awarded each year. The other prizes are for outstanding work in the fields of physics, chemistry, literature, peace, and economics. The prizes for achievements in science, peace, and literature are being awarded since 1901 and were created by dynamite inventor and entrepreneur Alfred Nobel. So that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you very much for your time. Good night.
Thank you.